There we go. Hey, what's up, guys? I know I generally don't make any videos like this anymore where I'm sitting down in a chair and kind of talking to y'all a little bit, but I thought this might be an important one, especially if you're planning to move to Japan and let's say you're in your like mid to late 20s, all the way to like, I want to say you can hard stop at like 35, you mid 30s, and you're looking to move to Japan like me, right? You want to do a new life. You don't feel fulfilled where you're at. You feel like you're just kind of living in this monotony, and you've probably been to Japan or even another country. It doesn't have to be Japan. And you just kind of want the best experience possible. See, here's how I break it down. If you want to get there as quick as possible and you're like early to mid 20s, by all means, just go ahead and do that because you don't really have that much to lose. You can go to school, you could just completely start your whole life over because you're still young and you get the benefit of the doubt from society. So I'm just going to be honest about that. Now, for me, I don't get the benefit anymore in America. All right. For a lot of people, if you don't watch my channel like that, it's completely fine. Shout out to 400 subs, by the way. But this is one thing I want to really say. I'm 33. All right. I don't get the benefit of the doubt from anybody anymore. They ask me, why are you staying at home? Why don't you have a house? Why don't you have this? Why don't you have that? There are going to be expectations for you if you're in like mid 20s to mid 30s. And we're all in the same boat. You know what I mean? And so with that being said, I highly suggest you watch this video all the way through because this is going to be the best way to move to Japan. All right. As somebody in their mid 20s to mid 30s anyway. Hyper specific information. So what I want to start with here is the number one thing, and that's going to be health, bro. Health is like a huge factor for literally everybody, bro. And especially when you're in America, you're in your mid 30s, you're in your something like that, bro. Healthcare is just so expensive. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's so expensive. Like, you'll have insurance, you'll have this copay or whatever, and it'll just be crazy expensive, bro. Like, everything from going to the doctor is gonna be minimum $200, bro. With insurance, for me, it's minimum $200. You can go get your free cleanings and stuff like that. That's completely fine. But at the same time, if you need major dental work done, thousands of dollars that you're coming out of pocket. So before you go to Japan, I need y'all to make sure that if you have a corporate job or even if you don't, save up money. Make sure you don't go over there with any pre-existing conditions, because the last thing you want to do is get over there, go to the doctor, and like boom, they're telling you this stuff, but they can't really break it down to you because they don't speak English all the way. But it's hard for them to break it down what their medical terms are, what all that stuff is. I personally would recommend you can go to a place that speaks English, especially if you're in America. Go to Mexico to get your teeth fixed, bro. Go to the doctor, pay the little $200 if you have insurance or whatever you need to do to make sure that your health is on point before you go. You need to 100% do that. All right. That's my number one thing is health. Health is wealth, and that's the most important part of anything before you go. Now, with that being said, number two is going to be money situations. And honestly, this is probably the biggest thing for you because nobody ever talks about credit. For whatever reason, everybody says, hey, I moved to Japan, I did this, I did that. They never talk about credit though. They never tell you about when they came back to America and how they had no credit and how they were 30 plus and they couldn't do anything because they don't have any credit history. And if you're from America, then you know credit is king literally everywhere, right? But nobody ever talks about the fact that when they came back from Japan after 5 years, after 7 years, after 10 years, that they came to nothing. They came with no credit. The conversion rate is low. So you're going to be poor regardless. Even if you make a whole bunch of money in Japan, let's slash that by 40%, okay? And that's going to be the exchange rate plus fees. So you got to think about these things before you go, bro. What I suggest, if you don't have credit already, get a credit card. Use that credit card in Japan and keep your American bank accounts open. You might not have to use them that much, but a lot of them don't come with minimums. All right. So just get you something from Chime, get you something from Chase or Wells Fargo, whatever your preferred bank is, somewhere that's not going to give you these stupid fees, these stupid overdraft fees and stuff like that. Get that in order, because I'm telling you, The last thing you want to do is come back to America for an emergency, come back to America because, I don't know, you just want to move back and you don't have anything established. Keep your credit established over there. Just pay your bill like monthly, the minimum. If it's $10, pay $10. If it's $25, pay $25. Whatever it is, pay that monthly while you're there. Calculate that into your moving expenses when you leave. All right, because nobody ever talks about that, bro. But that's gonna be a huge part, is your living expenses and your credit. Let's be honest. That credit is king. And again, if you don't have credit, you can't come back and get an apartment. You have to get a car at a super high interest rate and have a high down payment because of that. Okay? You're going to be suffering when you come back with no credit, all right? And that's not what you want, bro. Make sure you get that stuff in place. Now, here's, I want to say like 2A, okay? This is like 2A. So you got the main point, and then a delineation from that point is going to be like big major expenses, like am I leaving a car behind, right? Or what am I leaving behind that may depreciate in value? You can have a RV, I don't know, it can be something like that. Me personally, how I would approach this, if you plan on coming back, let's say within 2 years, keep your car. Honestly, keep your car. Park it at your mom's house, your dad's house. Remind them to crank it up 1 time a week. And keep your car, bro. Tell them let it run for like 10 minutes. Keep your car. Keep all of that. Because again, if you were ever to have to come back from an emergency, all right, the big thing is going to be, how do I get around? Now, I don't know where you're at. If you're in New York, maybe this is an issue, okay? But I'm from Atlanta. And if you know anything about Atlanta, you know we need cars to get around. So me personally, I'm paying off my car before I go. Because that's going to be something that I'm going to absolutely need, is a car when I get back. I don't want to come back with a Japanese shorty and like have to catch Ubers everywhere. And on top of that, we got to convert our money to USD, which we're going to lose a lot. So no, I don't want to. I absolutely do not want to do that by any means. I do not want to do that. So that has to be something to think about. I mean, if you don't have that, then don't worry about it. And if you know you're not coming back, for sure, go ahead and sell your stuff and use that as capital while you're in Japan. All right. Now, the third thing that I want to talk about, and this is another thing that people don't talk about, is skills. All right. Skills are a big thing. And in Japan, bro, you're doing skills and stuff like that. You can have skills. Okay. But the problem with Japan is they'll pigeonhole you, right? If you go to school for cooking, you just do cooking. And the only way that you could really get a promotion is opening up your own shop. All right. Otherwise, seniority rules in Japan. And hey, that's fair. That's their rules. That's how they do things. Okay, whatever. Now, this is what I want you to think about. What skills am I going to be developing in Japan that I can come back to America to, that I can advertise? All right. For instance, me, I do sales. Okay. I do sales. I sell to people all day, every single day. And it's all about building value. All about building value, and building rapport. Okay. I'm good at building rapport. Kind of not that persuasive. I'm not going to lie. If I'm being real with y'all, I'm not really that persuasive. But I can sell. And the whole thing is, if I can sell, I can always leverage that with big things. So if I'm good at selling, I can be good at selling houses. I can be good at selling cars. Right now, I work in tech. So guess what? I could be good at selling tech, which I just so happen to be. So with that being said, I think that you need to think about the skills that you're leaving with and think about the skills that you can advertise if you decide to come back. The worst possible scenario is that you go to Japan with no skills, all right? And don't work on anything for like 2 years. You say you're in language school. Maximum time is 2 years. You are in language school for 2 years, not developing any type of skill. And because you're not developing any type of skill, when you get back to America as a mid-20s, mid-30s-year-old person, they're going to be wondering, what's up? They're going to wonder what's up. If you want to work at tech companies, they're going to give you multiple interviews. They're going to give you the screener with the girl or the guy. They're going to give you the screener with, I don't know, your direct manager. Then they're going to give you a screener with the manager's manager, you know? And all of those things are going to come to bite you if you don't develop any skills. So I need y'all to understand this, bro. Seriously, develop some skills and think hard about the skills that you want to develop. Is it IT? Can you do it anywhere in the world? Is it sales? Can you talk to anybody and sell anything? You know, that's what really matters. That's what makes the world go round. People make the world go round. My suggestion is you should do things that affect people, okay? Do things that make somebody else's life easier. IT, make somebody's life easier. You know, you just do whatever you got to do to make their life easy. Same with sales. You know, generally speaking, you don't want to sell any PS. You want to sell things that will benefit people, right? Hopefully that's what the case is. Make sure that you can do that, bro. Make sure you got a skill that you can do that. Some skills just aren't worth it. They aren't transferable in other countries, you know? I don't have a degree, bro. I'm going to Japan with no degree. I'm going to Japan with nothing but me and my corporate skill set. That's all I'm going with. And some money in my pocket. It's going to be hard. And this is what it's about. That's why I'm documenting this stuff, bro. Because it's my road to Japan, you know? And those are the three things that I really, really worry about the most. And so the biggest thing has to be you and your future, bro. If you think you're going to go over there and get a fine waifu, okay, cool. I'm glad that you think that. But I got a reality check for you. She not going to want a bum. And that's just what it is. Teachers over there don't get paid well. You're better off you're better off saving and starting an English school. I'm being honest. Teachers over there don't get paid well. I don't like kids. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that. So try to figure out a skill that you can use, that you could take with you. Something that's going to develop you as a person, as a man, as a woman. Something along those lines, bro. But hey, it's whatever. This has been I don't even know what I'm going to call this video. But these are just the things that I'm thinking about before I move to Japan as a mid 30-year-old, almost 34-year-old. Man, I'm getting old, man. But thank y'all for 400 subscribers, bro. Like, it really does mean a lot. I am super happy to be here. I'm not gonna lie. Hopefully these videos can get more and more attention, man. And I'm probably gonna start a reaction channel too, because I just feel like I got a lot of wisdom and a lot of stuff going on like that. And I'll tell y'all more about me, I guess, personally, and hope that somebody relates to this stuff, man. But yeah, bro, till next time, man, I'll holla at y'all boys. Peace.